When researchers tracked thousands of predictions made by top economic and political pundits over 2 decades, they found something startling. Despite their expertise, these specialists consistently performed worse than random chance. This failure rate wasn't restricted to a few outliers. It persisted across every level of education and experience. The data suggests that more information and higher degrees do not protect a predictor from making massive errors. Because this pattern remains consistent across thousands of cases over 20 years, it suggests the error isn't in the knowledge itself, but in the biological mechanism the brain uses to process certainty. Expert knowledge becomes irrelevant if the biological hardware delivering that information is inherently compromised. Calibrating your certainty effectively requires you to actively consider every variable you do not know. Processing unknown variables heavily taxes our biological short-term memory capacity. Holding multiple novel data points in your head at once quickly leads to mental exhaustion. To save energy, an exhausted brain defaults to cognitive shortcuts. It filters out complexity and feeds you a false sense of certainty to resolve the mental strain. To bypass these biological shortcuts, we use a structured framework called the calibration protocol. Take a pen and paper. Identify one specific pending prediction you currently feel confident about and lock it in. Defeating biological arrogance requires you to offload this mental burden from your brain and onto a physical, external system. Step 1. Write your prediction clearly at the top of your page. Now we need to classify the environment of this prediction as either high validity or low validity. A high validity environment is a space where rules are clear and patterns repeat reliably. In these spaces, your personal expertise directly influences the outcome because the system itself is predictable. Low validity environments are highly unpredictable spaces, like stock picking or viral algorithms. In these arenas, unseen variables dominate the outcomes, regardless of your skill level. Overconfidence often occurs when we mistake a low-validity environment for a predictable one, where our expertise actually matters. Your internal expertise cannot override the inherent external chaos of a low-validity environment. Step 2. Next to your prediction, write down your exact confidence level as a mathematical percentage. You are strictly forbidden from using vague words like probably, highly likely, or confident. These vague linguistic anchors are cognitive shortcuts. Your brain uses them to avoid accountability and stay comfortable. Forcing a hard number removes the brain's wiggle room. It anchors the prediction in a measurable reality that you can track later. Mathematical precision serves as your first line of defense against the brain's natural bias toward ambiguity. Step 3. Draw a line down the middle of your page and title the right column Counterexamples. Actively list at least 3 specific, data-backed reasons why your prediction will fail. Generating opposing viewpoints is difficult. You will likely feel mental and physical exhaustion as you force your brain to fight its own assumptions. This friction is the direct biological result of your short-term memory being heavily taxed as it works to process conflicting data. Push through the fatigue. Physically writing these counterexamples down offloads the mental strain. Transforming these thoughts into physical writing provides the external structure required to bypass biological bias and overcome the brain's preference for cognitive shortcuts. Step 4. Review the counterexamples you've documented on the right side of the page. Cross out the original percentage you wrote down in Step 2. Now, calculate and write down a new, adjusted percentage that accounts for the opposing friction you just uncovered. This new number is likely significantly lower than the one you started with. By doing this, you have mathematically reduced the dangerous mismatch between your initial confidence and objective accuracy. You have now successfully completed the calibration protocol. You have moved from a biased biological assumption, snapping into alignment with a grounded, mathematically structured, and realistic probability. Keep this physical document on your desk as a permanent reference tool to remind you of what you don't know. Before you make your next major financial or creative bet, pull out a blank sheet and run this protocol again. Biological overconfidence is the default setting of the human brain, but true certainty is an active,